my God, welcome to the party. All right, so people are starting to hop on. I'll give this spiel one more time. Um, there are Facebook errors of some sort going on. Emily hasn't been able to hop on yet. Kylie is in the middle of moving, so she might hop in if she can. But if not, she has promised to give us a tour of her spooky new apartment in the heart of Salem. Very exciting times. So, Emily said she thinks she's about to be on. So sorry, guys. This is our first time doing this, so it's a little slow start, but we're gonna get there, I promise. Patrick, does this count as a live show? I promised that a live show would be a lot more popping. Right now, shit's going crazy. We can't get the ghouls on. I'm the only one here. Oh my lord. Okay. Here's the deal. I'm gonna get started with a short story. Most of these were found online. We have people who have written in a few also. So we will share those too if we can, and if not, they will also end up in a Ghoul Talk episode for anyone who wasn't able to hop on this call tonight. Call? Stream? What do you call this? I don't know. Anyway, all right, here we go. First one. Is this light spooky enough? Do I need to go spookier? Let me know. But also I want you to be able to kind of see me because, you know. All right, this first story that I found it on Reddit, and it's spooky. It's from Reddit user Quiet Voice 4846, and it's titled, "My husband and I have seen another me," which already, you know it's going to pop off, right? And my dogs are going to be barking. So sorry. They say, late at night, I usually go to the bathroom multiple times, but for the past 4 days, every time I go to leave, I can see myself still standing in the mirror from the corner of my eye. It is like the other me is watching me leave the bathroom. It terrifies me to the point where I almost run out without looking directly at the mirror. I never told my husband about it because I didn't want to acknowledge it out loud. Earlier today, I took a nap in our bed while he sat in the chair next to it watching TV. When I woke up, he told me that he had seen me sit up and crawl backwards to the edge of the bed and stand up in front of our bedroom door from the corner of his eye. He thought it was weird I got up like that because I'm in the last month of my pregnancy and I can't really move so good without it hurting. So he tried talking to me. When I didn't answer, he looked at the door to find me not there and still sleeping in bed. I got really creeped out, and I finally told him about what I've been seeing in the bathroom. He thought it was creepy as well, but didn't want to really talk about it anymore because he thinks it will give whatever it is power or energy. I have no idea what it wants or why we've both seen it. What the fuck? That's terrifying. Doppelganger? Maybe? I don't know. So people in the comments were saying, like, maybe you guys have carbon monoxide poisoning, but I feel like they would have known that by now. I think someone would have passed out at this point if it's so bad that they are having hallucinations. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. I'm terrified by this story. I feel like I might not sleep tonight envisioning someone, like, crawling backwards. It's like Exorcist shit that I'm not here for. Whew. Okay, guys. We're still having trouble getting the people connected. I'm so sorry. I might be your only ghoul. I don't want that to be the case, but... Laura says, I wonder if pregnancy can attract spooky stuff. I might have had a few experiences last summer when I was pregnant. Laura, what? Tell us more. Oh my gosh. I don't know. That makes sense. Like, I feel like that sounds reasonable. Like, you've got you've got different hormones going on. You've got like maybe different energies are drawn to you when you're pregnant. I don't know, but Laura, this is a good call out. If anyone knows how to add a second user because the way that Facebook told me to do it is not working, let me know. Until then, I'm going to move on to this second spooky story so that this isn't just me talking about troubleshooting issues for 30 minutes to an hour. Okay. Another one from Reddit, and the username is deadgirl77, and the title is She Was Trying to Come Home, which the title is what grabbed me. That's why I picked this one, and be prepared to lose your shit, or maybe not, but I did. So they say, my mother-in-law was living with us a few years back. She had a lot of health problems and was almost 80, so she couldn't live alone anymore. About a month into her moving in, I had a dream that I'd looked out front and she was pacing next to her car, looking lost and confused. I ran out to get her as my husband came to the door, and I remember dreaming me saying, they let her drive like this? And her looking at me and saying, I was just trying to come home. Told my husband, who didn't think much of it. Just a dream, right? Jump ahead a few months. She's still living with us and takes a bad turn. We find her unconscious upstairs in her bedroom. She's transported 2 hours away to a better hospital where they tell us things aren't looking great. A couple nights later, she's still in the hospital. Husband and I are watching movies around midnight. We hear a weird rolling and dragging sound in the living room. We have a door separating the front and back parts of the house. It kind of sits back in a narrow little alcove. Her wheelchair was blocking the door. Not just randomly rolled there, but still folded and wedged sideways against the door. Okay, no big deal. Shit happens. It's an old house with crooked floors. We let that one go. Around 3:30 the same morning, we're still up and someone starts banging on our front door, loudly. 3 bangs, a pause, and then 3 more. Husband goes to see what the fuck is going on. The last bang hit as he was unlocking the door. He opens it. No one's there. At this point, I've noped back to the bedroom. He relocks the door, gets about halfway back, bang, bang, bang. He looked out the window, no one there. So he nopes back right behind me while the banging continues for about 30 minutes. Next morning, the hospital calls around 6 a.m. His mom passed away at 3:30 that morning. The banging continued randomly for the next 4 days until she was cremated, at which time I like to assume she found his dad. Guess she was trying to come home. Okay. First question is, why weren't they told earlier that she had passed away? I think that's a little bit weird, but I don't know how that works. So if anyone has had a loved one pass away from the hospital, or like while at the hospital, let me know if they contacted you immediately or after, or what goes on, because I think that's a little bit weird, but also scary. I'm spooked. Emily says she's loving it. I guess she's going to stay in the comments. That's what we've got for right now. We're going to get this figured out, I promise, if this quarantine persists. So if we have to do another one of these next week, we will have it figured out, I promise. But for now, you just have me, and I hope that's enough. All right, another story. Another one from Reddit, and then I'm going to move on to a few listener stories that we were sent. So this one comes from the Overseer 20, and they titled it The Faceless Boy. Honestly, most of these I picked because of titles, and they didn't disappoint, so here we go. I was about 9 when this happened. My brother and I shared a room. I had the top bunk, and he slept on the bottom. It was a school night. I was laying in bed playing Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone for Game Boy Advance, and was as happy as any other kid could be. My mom came into my room and told my brother and I to go to sleep, so we did. My dad used to play music when he went to the bathroom, so it was normal to hear music coming from there. That's how you knew Dad was in there. On this particular night, I was awoken with the urge to pee, and I heard the faint melodies of Gary Numan's Cars playing, and it comforted me. The song ended and then replayed itself. The song was on repeat for maybe 40 minutes. My dad always had a playlist of random cool 80s songs he burned on his CD playing, so it was very weird to hear the same song playing over and over like that. I went upstairs to check it out, and the bathroom door was cracked open, with the light seeping through the slight opening. I opened the door and no one was there, just that song playing. I turned off the stereo and turned on the light. As soon as I got back to my bedroom, I heard the song come back on. It didn't make sense because I had never had anything like this happen to me before. I got a strange gut feeling, so I ended up having to wake my dad up and asking him to turn it off. The next night was a little different. My brother and I went to bed as usual, and I was woken up with the same urge to pee like the night prior. I turned over and looked at the clock tower alarm on my bedside. 2 a.m. it read. Pretty early, I thought to myself. I leaned to my left and lifted my leg over the side of the bed when I suddenly came to a stop. I was frozen and couldn't move. My body was completely paralyzed, with half of my right leg over the side of the bunk bed. There on the floor was a boy. He was sitting holding his knees to his chest. His skin was blue, but had a strange glow to it. He had on what looked like a bathrobe that was all black. His face was long, with 2 empty spaces for eyes. No definite shape, just deep voids where his eyes should be. He didn't have a nose or a mouth. He was just shivering, holding his limbs close to himself. I could hear my brother slightly snoring beneath me, and I was terrified for his safety. I had thousands of thoughts racing, nothing coming close to any sort of explanation to what I was seeing. I wanted to scream and cry at the same time, but I was frozen in the same spot. I finally gained some sort of strength and pulled my leg up, which startled him. The boy, not the brother. He turned his head in an unnatural way and started looking at me. He was just staring at me. I couldn't see his eyes, but I know that they were there. It was like looking into a well trying to see the bottom. I looked at him for what felt like 2 hours. Still couldn't move. I couldn't speak or properly breathe. I was just stuck. The boy eventually looked away, and the only thing I could think to do was slowly move myself under the covers and just try to hide, so I did. I lightly and carefully shuffled beneath my covers and turned towards the wall, eventually falling asleep. The next morning, he was gone. No sign of him there or leaving. I told everyone I knew about him, and most of my friends and family believed me. To this day, I haven't forgotten him. It's been 19 years, and I can still see him as clear as day in my mind. Seeing that entity sparked a lifelong search for the paranormal, something that will help me to understand what I saw. I'll never know what I saw. Spooky AF. Okay. The last thing I want to see when I'm waking up in the middle of the night is a frozen boy child with no eyes, no nose, and no mouth. I don't know about you guys. Maybe that's like something that you're into. Personally, I'm not, but pass. We don't love it, okay? Are you guys ready for some submitted stories? Let's see what we got here. And again, if you shared a story tonight, we'll also probably end up sharing it in another Ghoul Talk, just for anyone who hasn't gotten the chance to tune in this evening and hear it here. We want to make sure all these wonderful, brilliant stories get shared and people get to hear them, because we so appreciate you guys sending them. It's awesome. Okay. This first one comes from the sweetest angel there ever was, our dear friend Jeffrey. All right. Jeffrey says, "Hey ghouls, not to sound like a broken record, but I love your show. Like raw cookie dough, love your show. Love raw cookie dough. Have you tried the Ben & Jerry's cookie dough bites? Let me know if they're good." Anyway, I also want to say that I got a bit teary-eyed when you said you found a way for the show to go on this week, because for 1 hour, I get to reconnect with friends, you three, aka me this time, and only have to be afraid of ghosts. So, I owe you all the stories, but I will start with one that is work-related and maybe a silver lining on being required to work from home. Let me preface this by saying, while I will not disclose the company I work for, they are one of the huge players in the sports footwear industry that have offices in Portland, Oregon. The company is also hyper-focused on sustainability, so much so that they repurposed a vacant hospital into the office we have today, and wouldn't you know it, I work in one of the original buildings. Guys, when are we gonna... Offices and old hospitals, it's a recipe for a haunting. We've said it before, and we will say it again. Okay? All right. Okay, story. When I started with the company, there was a lot to get caught up on, so I went into the offices on Sunday afternoons for the first few months. That's commitment. I was the only person on the floor, enjoying the quiet and hammering away at some spreadsheets when I heard the elevator ding. Was someone on the floor and I missed them? Well, in any case, they were leaving, and now I have the floor to myself. Suddenly I heard heeled shoes. Oh shit, someone wasn't going, they were coming. Someone had stepped off the elevator and was clip-clopping on the finished cement floors. It sounded like they took about 20 steps and stopped. My chair faces away from the elevator, so I turned around to see if I knew who it was. I did not see anyone, but I did see the sensory lights on the other side of the floor were on. Guess I was too slow. I worked for an hour more and then heard the heeled shoes again. They were walking behind me. I turned around to see who it was and say hi. It's the Midwestern in me. We know no strangers. There was nobody there, but I could hear the heel steps getting closer as they walked past my desk, stopped, shuffled, and walked back the other way. Sweet sassy Molassie. Growing up in a house of spirits, one of the stories I owe you, I was unfazed, but I was disappointed I did not anything. Jeffrey, what's missing there? Tell me. I need to know. Anyway, the footsteps were heading back towards the elevator bays, and I got up from the desk to follow them. I really wanted to see if the elevator button would light up as if it were pushed. Nothing. No more steps, no elevator opening. Fast forward about a week later, one of the guys on my project team, let's call him Fred, was frantically walking around looking at the ground as if he had lost something. When I asked Fred if he was okay, he said, I think so. Are there interviews today? Have you seen anyone wearing loafers? He was trying to see what shoes people were wearing. It's a legit question because, again, dress shoes stick out like a sore thumb at an athletic shoe company. Only people that are interviewing tend to wear them. Fred later told me that while he was sitting in the bathroom stall, someone wearing loafers was pacing outside the stall, and all Fred could see was a person's loafers covered by dress slacks. The shoes then stopped in front of his stall and turned toward him. Fred called out several times, "Someone's in here," and heard no response. The shoes then backed up to where they were no longer visible under the door, but it still felt like someone was waiting out there. Fred finished up, and when he opened the door, nothing. He said the weird part was that he never heard the person walk out of the bathroom. There's my story. Thank you, Ghouls, so much for creating a space that is welcoming and where we can all share. Jeffrey. Ah! What? Oh, Jeffrey, this piece that was missing, he says he did not see anything. Clopping heels, didn't see a thing. What on God's green earth? Has anything happened since? Tell us. Has anyone else had experiences there? Let me know. Also, the heels. Like, I feel like nurses used to have to wear the little heeled shoes. I don't know. Robbie, welcome. Robbie is an angel, part of the Brew interviews, which I know we all have a little, we might have a little downtime right now. People are in their homes. If you are all caught up on everything or you just need a new podcast, the Brew interviews, seriously, a lot of fun. They talk about all sorts of topics. They review beers. They've sent us some. They have amazing taste. So check them out 100%. If you love beer, you gotta listen. All right, kids. Here's another one for us from Patrick, who is here, I believe. So here it goes. Hi, Ghouls. Hey, it's your boy, Patrick. I hope you're all doing relatively well and staying healthy. I believe we are. I'm working from home, quarantined, as the people say. So, I'm doing my part, doing the best I can. I'm writing this very quickly since I know you're going live very soon, and I wanted to send this story in to keep y'all entertained. This will be part 2 of the cinematic universe that is me being haunted. Also, this story has a vintage reference to when y'all, I think it was Emily, who specifically wanted more toilet related stories. That was absolutely Emily or Kylie. They love that. I personally am like, it's fine, the toilet humor, but they have fun. So they're going to love this when they get to watch it later. Emily, I think you're still on. So my sophomore year of college at Loyola University Chicago, I was an RA in one of the oldest dorms on campus. It used to be a seminary until they moved into a nicer building next door, because college freshmen wouldn't care about the nicer building, I suppose. Anyway, while I was an RA there, I learned that it is super old and the place was practically falling apart. One time I woke up and the entire railing in the stairway had just fallen out of the wall. Another time a piece of the ceiling just fell in the hallway, just because. So basically the building was super creepy and had very big haunted vibes. And sure enough, I had my encounter with a ghost living in my hallway. Okay, so before I go any further, I just have to say that this sounds like a hazard and like really irresponsible to have students there when shit's falling apart. Did anyone sue? Let us know. Was anyone injured? Let me know. All right. So as an RA, they have us move in 2 to 3 weeks early, around the beginning of August for training. I had just moved in and it was maybe 2 to 3 days into training. The structure of training was presentations with all the RAs during the day, then after dinner was independent time to make bulletin boards or decorate your hallway. Mine was Stranger Things themed and was pretty badass if you ask me. Do you have photos? We'd love to see that. So I decided to stay up pretty late working on a bulletin board that was right by my room. In order to understand the first encounter with this ghost, I should explain the shape of the building. It's basically just the shape of a capital E. Each leg of the E has rooms and a bathroom with 3 RAs on each floor, with their leg of rooms and some in the main hallway, the long part of the E. Anyway, so while I was working on the bulletin board, I was sitting on the floor of my leg of the E, and I looked down the end of my hallway out the window that was there. Suddenly, I see a shadowy figure walk down the long part of the E in the reflection of the window. It was dark out, so the hallway lights created a perfect reflection. The figure seemed to be a kind of taller man, just short of power walking by. I imagine this was most likely a residual energy or spirit from when the building was a seminary. Needless to say, more bricks were shat. I tried to rationalize it, but the only other people in the building were the other RAs who were all downstairs working on their decorations together in the basement. I quickly put the bulletin board back up and hustled into my room for the night. I think that's a great call. Stick around for that. Since then, I had a few weird paranormal encounters with the same ghost. There were a few times I felt super uneasy when doing late night rounds of the building, basically just doing a lap of the building looking for trouble when you're the RA on duty. My hallways always had a very weird vibe, as though something was off, though I gotta say, this ghost definitely had a good sense of humor because they gave me a good laugh with a few bathroom hauntings. The building's bathrooms were split, so when you walked into either, you went to the left of the toilets and urinals, or on the right to the showers with sinks and a mirror on both sides. There were more than a few times I would go to the shower and hear no one come in or out, and hear the sink start running on the toilet side of the bathroom. Though the best moment was when I was in the bathroom with please help me God. Though the best moment was when I was in the bathroom in one of the stalls and suddenly I heard all the other toilets flush. I legit just started laughing out loud while sitting there. After it happened a few more times where the toilets and urinals would start randomly flushing and the sinks kept going off, I finally just said out loud while in the stall, "Hey, I understand you also live here, but can you please try to not waste water or scare people? It's totally cool that you were here, but let's just not freak anyone out." Things seemed to be much calmer after that, though I never got any word from my residents. Anyway, that's my fun story about being haunted with some extra wild content. I hope everyone is staying healthy and keeping that social distance. Best of luck and lots of love, Patrick. Woof! Okay? Building is awful. Patrick says they're tearing it down. Praise be. Okay? Like, that's all I have to say. Students don't need to be living there with fear of, like, tiles falling on their head or rails falling off the wall that they're trying to use to walk. I don't know. What on God's green earth? Joey says we should do this more often. I have to agree, except next time I will make sure that the other ghouls are here, so it's not just me for 30 minutes to an hour. Patrick says, imagine trying to go to the bathroom and just hearing every toilet flush. I don't like to imagine that, okay? I'm scared, honestly. I always get creepy vibes in bathrooms, like public bathrooms when I'm by myself. So I don't need all the toilets to start flushing at once. Could this be a plumbing issue? I don't know. Or is it just a very active ghost? Let's hear your thoughts in the comments, people. Have you had a toilet flushing ghost? Do you know someone who has had a toilet flushing ghost? Please let us know. All right, I'm going to share another listener submitted story, and this comes from Sarah. Sarah says, hi guys, I have a short story my mom was telling me about an experience my family had back in the early to mid 90s. And they told me this after I'd listened to an episode. Herself, my dad, and an older sister had been living in a house for a few months when she started hearing things and seeing things out of the corner of her eye. She felt uncomfortable walking by the guest bedroom like something was watching her. Didn't think much of it until around 4 months into them living there when she was home alone and saw a dark mass go from the hallway to the middle of the guest bedroom. Dark masses are never good. I think we all know that. She immediately called my dad, who came home to anoint the house himself. He grew up Catholic and was also a minister for a while, but he forgot the garage. Oh, he forgot to anoint the garage. Okay. A few days later, my mom was driving her car, and when she stopped at a stoplight, she saw the black mass go across the hood of her car to the passenger door. No! She got so scared she ran the red light, LOL. She found out from a neighbor the previous owners had a son who was giving them a hard time because I guess he was kind of weird and some thought he was into dark stuff. But he also had attempted suicide in the guest bedroom, which when they lived here, there was his. They moved out not too long after, only lived there about 6 months. Thanks for reading and love the podcast, Sarah from Texas. Emily misses public bathrooms. Quarantine. I mean, honestly, I would be thankful for a public bathroom right now, but I still don't want the toilets to start flushing. Did anyone else have a toilet paper scare? I thought we were on our last roll of toilet paper. I went. The stores were out. We got some from the corner store. Honey, I don't even know if that was 1-ply, okay? It's rough, but we have since acquired the good stuff. I hope you guys are not stuck with that 1-ply because, oh, it is you. Sarah, it is your story. Well, thank you for sharing. Very spooky. Has your family had any experience since? Let me know. Was this a one-off? Are they haunted by it forever? I feel haunted by black masses. All right. What do you guys think of one more? Are you guys down to clown with one more? Let's do it. This comes from Shelby, who is in Austin, Texas. Oh my God, Shelby, are you here watching? Let me know. Shelby says, hey ghouls, I'm so happy to have your podcast in my life. I too came out of the womb a spooky little ghoul, and listening to your stories has gotten me through many flights and car rides. Also, I miss Kylie being in Austin, and we'll just have to catch her when I'm back in Boston for my annual Halloween pilgrimage. Shelby, we should be friends, and also you should catch Kylie in Boston. And we'll be there soon. Anyway, so here's my story. In high school, I was on and off with a guy who is a bit older than me. He was really into gaming and lived in his sister's unfinished basement, complete with neon PlayStation sign and a very involved gaming setup. I'd never before hung out with someone who existed in a room with a concrete floor and a mattress directly on the ground, but hey, love is blind. It is. And also, have you guys watched Love is Blind? Because now, if you're working from home, you have time. It's a shit show, and what a wild ride. So anyway, Shelby says Love is Blind, and that's accurate. So this boy had told me multiple stories about an entity that followed both him and his sister, always describing it as a female and even giving it a female name, which I forget. He had a story about him and a friend playing games in his room one night when a thick black fog or liquid appeared from the ceiling. I always thought he was full of it, but every story he has been backed up by a friend of ours who witnessed it as well. One time he and his sister were hundreds of miles apart when they both woke up and called each other, having experienced waking up to the entity on their chest in some sort of sleep paralysis type situation. Not long before my experience, we sat in his room with a friend who spoke about seeing shadows out of the corner of his eye just days before. One night we were in his room snuggling on the bed, and I was attempting to be silly to cheer him up and out of a bad mood. You could hear the ice maker in the freezer upstairs, and I was jokingly acting scared and saying, "Oh my, what was that?" Have you guys seen the memes about the ice maker? Like, I hear the ice maker, it's a demon. I'll share it after this because I'm never good at explaining memes, but the memes are always good. All of a sudden, there was, best I can describe, a breathy exhale that came from above us near the corner of the ceiling. That's not where whispers come from, y'all. Both of our heads whipped towards the sound, and every single hair in my body stood up. He said, "That was not the ice maker." All I could do was repeatedly say, "What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? What do we do?" Just then, a box in the storage corner of the room fell off a stack of boxes it was on. I couldn't move. I was absolutely paralyzed with fear. After a minute or so that seemed to last 10 years, we got up and ran upstairs into the living room. We sat on the couch, and he shook his head and kept saying he knew it was her. There were popping noises surrounding us in the room, and I got a strong sense that I was not wanted there. It seemed he involuntarily had a demon girlfriend, and 3 was definitely a crowd. I said goodbye and left his house and never spoke to him again. Not once. Straight up ghosted! Shelby! Cold-blooded. Thanks for your service to this spooky community. Keep on creeping it real. Shelby, Austin, Texas. This. What? Even? Also, referring to the popping noises surrounding you, that happened to me and 2 of my friends, which I know I've told the story on the podcast, but me and my dumbass friends in high school were trying to contact Edie Sedgwick via Ouija board. Is myself, my friend Alexis, and my friend Mitch, and all of a sudden, this weird, like, creaking and popping sound starts going around my bedroom, and we all shit bricks, and to this day, we still talk about it. We all have had the same experience. Oh my god, that's a ghoul. Oh my god. You can't see her. Oh, there she is.
My friend Alexis and my friend Mitch.
Wait, I'm listening to the pod.
All of a sudden, this weird, like, creaking and popping sound.
Okay.
Are we still live?
We're still live. Pause her.
Oh
my god. Emily is here from afar. This is our janky system. But she's here.
Y'all, I had such a good time.
Wow.
Such a good time. Listen, on this from Netflix, and this is so fun. It's a mess.
I wish you could see her better. This is... Why? Oh, there she is. Oh, she caught the light right. Wow, guys, this has been fun.
It's so fun.
And if we continue to be quarantined, which I feel is the case, we will figure out how to get all of us green by next week. I promise you. Whether it seems like Facebook is not going to be the place, but we will figure it out. We'll make sure that we're here for the people. We also need human interaction, even if it comes in the form of comments on Facebook.
Yo, so real.
I
gotta get that contact. Your homie's in a studio alone?
No. This is not the life.
All I have is my ghost, but that's cool for now.
Even my dogs, I think, are sick of me. Is Holly happy to have you home?
She's up there. You see her stoic? God, you guys can't see her, but she's up there. She's crashing my party, having a good time. I just miss my ghouls.
I miss my ghouls. I miss the outside world. I keep going and hanging out in my front yard, which is so exciting.
You're lucky to have a front yard.
It's all I have right now.
Girl, I just go onto my balcony, Pretty soon it's going to be like Italy, where we're all singing the balcony.
Patrick says, let's get on Zoom, which honestly, I've been using it for work, and that's the only party I get to have every week.
Yeah, I'm down to Zoom. Whatever.
Hook us up on Zoom, okay, guys? Holler at us. I will legitimately talk to anyone who wants to talk at this point. Let's just have fun. But yeah, I think my dogs are sick of me. They're used to being home alone, and they're like, fuck you, you're in our house.
Right?
They're pissed.
I know. Holly's probably like, what the F are you doing in here, man? When did I invite you? Never. But it's okay. We're chill.
Sarah also says her cats are probably plotting her death. Oh my gosh, my mom is here, and she says, I love Emily.
I love your mom. Stop.
My mom and the Ghouls, they really partied in New Orleans, and they're going to be back for more soon.
Yes, we can't wait. Thanks for keeping it 100, Alyssa. You did such a good job. Didn't you do a great job, you guys?
Next week. I keep saying next week because I know that this is probably what's going to happen. But we're gonna figure it out, and we're all gonna be here. Kylie's gonna be moved in. She's gonna get to give us a little tour of her apartment in Salem. Maybe she'll give us a little peek out the window so we can see Salem itself.
Yep. She's currently cruising in a car, looking beautiful. But she's here with us in spirit.
Love that girl, and love you guys, and thank you. I know it got off to a rocky start, but we got there. We got some fun stories, and we love you guys.
Love you, and love the people.
We're gonna say now. Mwah! We love ya.
Stay spooky.
Stay friggin' spooky.